The thing that really gets my goat about finance meetings is going back into the past and asking what went wrong. We blew our budget and now that set us back. My job as a fractional CFO is to help business leaders set goals and take action to get to them. But when a potential client reaches out to me and I know I can help them by budgeting, forecasting and planning, etc., I ask myself, have they been exercising fiscal discipline? Are they in the habit of setting budgets? And do they have an approval process in place to catch overspending before it happens? I can do the best job in the world, but if those business leaders don't have control of their spending, they won't get anywhere, and in fact, they can go backwards. I'm Anne Plummer, and welcome back to CFO Value Unleashed, where I show you how to collaborate more effectively with your bookkeeper, your accountant, and your CFO to drive growth in your business. In this episode, I'm going to show you what you can do today to get things under control. Whether you're a large or a small business, the principles are the same. Let's get started. First, I'm going to show you how to put together a bare bones expenses budget. Now, this is not going to be something that's got a big goal at the end of it, but it will start to get you into the habit of budgeting. Ask your bookkeeper or accountant to generate a profit and loss report for the last 12 months, and include in that 12 months the year-to-date column. Then ask them to export it as an Excel or Google Sheets document. So open up the spreadsheet. This spreadsheet represents reality, what actually happened in the year. So if there's anything that's out of left field, that's not correct, or that's way off, a one-off thing that'll never happen again, keep that in mind for the next step. Change the column heading to approved budget for the previous year. So what we're doing is, it may not have been an approved budget, you may never have done a budget before, but just getting into the routine of and the discipline of budgeting. The next column, make it the draft budget 2024 in this case, but the draft budget for the following year, and then head up the next column as comments. Then just take it line by line and have a think about what's going to happen in the coming year. So is it going to be same as last year? Do you know there's an increase coming? And just go down for each of the items and put in what you think it's going to be. Keep it simple, simple, simple. Talk the draft budget through with other principal decision makers, such as your business partner. Once you have agreement, you sign it and they sign it. This will stop any conflict down the road. Give it to your bookkeeper to put it up in the accounting software. You want to build a habit of referring to it throughout the month to help you control the budget. It's not just the end of the month fiasco called the Variance Report. Now that you've got your expenses budget, let's look at your approval process to see how you can control spending in your business and stay in budget. The first part of the process is when a need arises in your business, when you need something, goods or services. This is the ideal time to check against the budget to see if what you need is actually going to fit in with your budget. So having checked that the need you have or the want fits in with the budget, the next step in the process is to go to the shop or shop online, subscribe to the service, obtain a quote, sign a contract or place an order. Next, you'll receive the bill, and I suggest this bill should go into a central repository online, or if you're still paper-based, all the bills collected in one place. This will avoid duplicates. So someone needs to check that the goods have been received, the services have been rendered, and that if you've got a quote, that the bill matches the quote. And also, if there's a change of bank details, it's important to do a double check to make sure it's not fraudulent. So here's another good place for you to make sure that the amount you're going to be spending is within your budget. The next step is to have some sort of payment requisition, whether that's a hard copy form or some sort of place where the bill has been approved by the responsible person. Sometimes that's going to be you. Go through and just sign off on all the bills to be paid. You can just scribble on it, okay to pay, and then sign it or initial it. And if you've got a business partner, both of you should initial any bills to be paid. That way there can be no arguments about if an item is out of budget or in budget. What's really time effective at this stage is to batch up those bills to be paid so that when your bookkeeper comes in, all they have to do is enter the payments into the software, into your accounting software. Ideally, they just come in and they know that they can't enter anything that hasn't already been approved. So you can have a policy like, unless you see both signatures on a bill, don't enter it. Things like that can really help you stay in budget. The next step is to have the bills entered into your accounting software, whether that's Xero or QuickBooks, and those bills can be batched together so the payments are batched into one lump of money that goes out on a particular day. Once the bills are batched together and the payment is ready to go up to the bank, then you can check in the software how that affects your cash flow. So if you've got a big batch of bills, you don't want to be overdrawn in your bank account. So that's easy for your bookkeeper to just sort of quickly check to make sure that that batch is within the spending limits. Now, there is a facility in most of these softwares for you to actually go in and approve the bills there. If you're very hands-on, you can do that. I do find it's a little bit clunky in your process. So the process doesn't flow so smoothly if the bookkeeper has to wait for you to come in and actually approve the bills before they can go to the next step for paying the bills. So the next step in the process is for the batch payments to be uploaded at the bank. This can be done if you can segregate the responsibility by someone else. They can upload it into the bank. Now, this is really the last point of call. If the batch is wrong and you suddenly realise you've had a change of heart and it's out of budget, you don't have to approve the batch. So for instance, if you've got a batch of 10 bills and you suddenly realise that you've made a mistake with one of the bills and you don't want to pay it, then just simply the bookkeeper has to pull that batch down from the bank and take out that bill and reload it up. It's not a big deal. Take them about 5 minutes to do that. So ideally, it's better to catch out of budget expenses here when you think you need something, but you discover that that's really outside of what's possible at the moment. It's better to catch it there. But still, you've got all these points where you can just double check the budget and make sure it's in line with the budget spending for the month. And I've thought of a really important thing you can do that's really easy to do. Once those bills have been entered into the software, if your bookkeeper has set up the budget in the software, they can run a variance report for the current month. And you can see the percentages, the underages and the overages against the budget that you've got set. So you can double check it there. That's really easy to do. If you are going to delegate some responsibility for staying in budget, Be extremely clear as to what their responsibility is and make sure they have access to the tools and knowledge they need to manage that budget line. You can also set up a Financial Delegation of Authority. A Financial Delegation of Authority lays out the limits of spending for a given level of management or team member. It has to be signed by the business owner or the board of directors. It might seem a bit over the top, but why not have one in place? As your business grows, it can easily be reviewed and adjusted. Well, there you have it. I hope you found today's video useful. If you've got any questions about it, can you please put them down in the comments and I'll respond. Until next time, have a fantastic day.